This presentation is supported by our regional water supplier, Tarrant Regional Water District. TRWD maintains 4 area lakes and pipelines needed to provide surface water to local water treatment plants so they can clean it to meet drinking water standards for our communities. They also work with many cities in Tarrant County, such as Fort Worth, Arlington, and Mansfield, to provide water conservation programs for the community. Conservation is an important water supply strategy to help meet the needs of a growing population. There are currently 2.3 million people in Tarrant County, and this is expected to double over the next 50 years. This is why TRWD supports many programs that help save water through outdoor watering and gardening education. At SaveTarrantWater.com, you can sign up for free weekly watering advice custom to your location. If you are a resident of Tarrant County, you can sign up for a free sprinkler system checkup where a licensed irrigator comes to your home and provides a comprehensive evaluation of your system with recommendations to reduce water waste. There is also an event calendar where you can find important information about future classes and workshops. TRWD also partners with organizations like Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service and the Tarrant County Master Gardeners to provide educational programs just like this one. Be sure to check out SaveTarrantWater.com and sign up for their free services.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I got started on this journey about learning about poinsettias and everything when I was working at our school garden. We volunteer, several master gardeners. We volunteer there once a week. And we also have a garden club with the 4th and 5th graders. And one of the master gardeners, Pam Brock, asked me to give a presentation. She said she would put the PowerPoint together if I would do the presentation for her. And that's what started me giving these presentations. Pam did the first few slides of the presentations. And then as I moved on to giving this class to adults, I went further into studying the other Euphorbias and the 4 native poinsettias that we have in Texas. So I hope you enjoy the program. I'm sure everyone knows this plant by now. Now, do you know this plant? It can grow 13 feet tall. This is also a poinsettia. And is it correct to say poinsettia or poinsettia? And actually, either one is correct. The poinsettia is a Euphorbia pulcherrima. Pulcherrima means very beautiful in Latin. You will find this pulcherrima genus species name on other plants. And as you can see in the arrow near Mexico City, that is the home of the poinsettias where they bloom in the winter. The Aztecs used poinsettias for a purple dye for clothes and cosmetics. The milky white sap was made into a medicine to treat fevers. Is it poisonous? The leaves are not poisonous, but the sap can be very toxic, very caustic to your eyes. So you do not want to, touch that, get that sap on your hands and then touch your eye or your mouth or anything like that. So how did the poinsettia get to the U.S.? In 1825, President John Quincy Adams appointed Joel Robert Poinsett as the first minister to Mexico. Poinsett sent many of the plants back to South Carolina, grew them, and shared the plants with friends. He was also one of the founders of the Smithsonian. He was also a botanist. Poinsettias are the best flowering plant in the United States, as we probably all know. They are sold in the wintertime, come in many colors. Does the poinsettia have flowers? We know it has bracts, which are modified leaves, as you can see in this picture. and the flowers are in the center. The genus of Euphorbia has these characteristics. They are Euphorbiaceae or spurge family. When you hear the word spurge, it means a weed to most of us, and it does spread very, very freely. However, any native plants, being a master naturalist, we were taught that if it's a native plant, it can't be invasive. It can be aggressive and naturalize well, but we cannot consider it as being invasive. The inflorescence or flower part of the poinsettia is called a cup flower or cyathium. It has no petals, no sepals, and it's monoecious, meaning it has both sexes on the same flower. They have modified leaves called bracts. They have that sticky, white, latex-like sap in the stem, but not poisonous, but it is caustic, like I said, to your eyes. The genus has over 200 members, making it one of the largest genera of flowering plants. As I mentioned, the characteristic inflorescence resembles a single flower. It consists of a cup-shaped involucre of fused bracts. An involucre is like a cap on an acorn. It's an enclosure. It also has several reduced male and single female flowers, and you'll be able to see those. So how are poinsettias grown? I'm going to show a short video on that. Oops.
The poinsettia is one of the most popular flowering indoor plants worldwide. Every year, over 100 million plants are sold in Europe alone. To provide sufficient plants at the beginning of the season, production starts every spring. Poinsettias are grown out of cuttings. Young leafed branches are being cut off so-called mother plants. These plants are purebred, particularly beautiful and lusciously grown poinsettias. Every year from May onwards, the first cuttings are taken from the mother plants and planted into a special earth to generate root growth. The cuttings are irrigated and sheltered for the next 3 to 4 weeks in a warm climate similar to their Mexican origin. After root growth is complete, the young plants are replanted into their final pots. Time and pot size depend on the desired final size of the plants. Large plants, such as high-stemmed and bush poinsettias, are already being repotted in May. Normal-sized ones between June and August, and the so-called minis in September. Temperatures between 16 and 20 degrees centigrade, consistent humidity and frequent fertilizing are the ideal growing conditions for young poinsettias over the next months. The dark phase commences 7 to 9 weeks before the start of the season. Black foil and time switches create an artificial short day for the plants. To generate flowers and colourful upper foliage, the poinsettias need 12 hours darkness per day for the next 50 days. During their last greenhouse phase, the poinsettias grow to their desired size and form out their characteristic star-shaped, colourful upper foliage, along with inconspicuous little buds. Brilliant reds, elegant creams, glowing pinks, or a delicate rose create the specific poinsettia glamour and ambience. You will find more information on www.xmas-star.info.
Okay. This picture is taken from the conservation greenhouse at Fort Worth Botanic Garden. These are some of my fellow master gardeners, and they're giving a tour of the poinsettias, they grow, or used to grow at least, in the conservation greenhouse. And then they would spread these out throughout the garden and give them away for special occasions. You can see the different heights of them and the many colors there. This is another picture where you can see the taller ones in the back. This is the family that got this whole thing started. In the middle is Ecke Sr., and on the right side is Ecke Jr., and Paul Ecke III is on the left side. I'm going to give you a little history now. In 1909, the German immigrant Albert Ecke, the senior, moved with his 5-year-old son to the LA area to farm fruit and vegetables. They dabbled in flowers. They also dabbled with a shrub with brilliant red bracts that attracted their attention. To sell the poinsettia, they called it the Christmas flower and convinced local growers to grow the plant. After all, not many plants bloom in the winter. In 1923, they were muscled out of Hollywood, and Paul Ecke Sr. moved to Encinitas, where he turned it into the best potted plant in America. At their peak, they commanded 90% of the American poinsettia market. Ecke Jr. took over the reins in 1960. He promoted plants on TV and in magazines. He was on The Tonight Show. He even ate some of the leaves to show that they weren't poisonous. Poinsettias were always seen on sets of shows at Christmas time. He also developed a secret way to make plants tougher and for them to have more blooms. Paul Ecke III took over the ranch in 1992 and started the business in Guatemala. He sold the company to Drummond Orange in 2012. The Eckes don't sell their Guatemala business to consumers. Their business was developing and planting new varieties, growing cuttings of those varieties, selling them to the growers. Currently, they still have about 50% plus of the market. Some interesting poinsettia facts. During the 6 to 8 weeks of the holidays, 70 to 80 million plants are sold. A 50-pound child could eat 500 leaves before starting to get a stomachache. No one has been able to produce a blue poinsettia. There's an old Mexican legend that tells the story of a little girl so poor she can't afford to buy anything to offer her church's nativity scene. Refusing to go empty-handed, she plucks a handful of tangled weeds from the side of the road. To her surprise, they miraculously bloomed into dazzling red and green poinsettias at the baby Jesus' feet. Also, the little-known fact is that December 12th is actually National Poinsettia Day. That is the day that Joel Poinsettia passed away. And now I'm going to see if we can get a tour that was given by one of the Eckes.
Hey gang, sorry you're all still back at the shop minding the crops, and I'm out here in gorgeous Encinitas, California. I'm at the Duman Group Poinsettia Open House, and the Ecke and Red Fox brands are showing off their 2015 poinsettia programs. We're going to focus here on the Ecke products. Ecke, as you probably know, was the single-handed major force behind making poinsettias what they are today for the holiday season. Way back when, they started off with just a little street stand in the Southern California markets, and they sold these great big cut-off, tall, 6-foot stalks of poinsettias. And it's amazing how they've transformed over the years from those tall, gangly plants to these gorgeous, compact, V-shaped potted plants that we're used to selling to our customers. I had a chance to meet up with Ruth Kobayashi, one of the world's leading experts on poinsettia breeding, and there she is. The first group I'm going to review is the Premier series, and we'll start with the red, which as you can see is gorgeous. Some of the interesting points about the Premier series are that it's relatively early. It's got a 7-week reaction time. They're all very nice and compact. You have a nice dark foliage that contrasts with the great colors. Comes in 4 colors. We'll see them all here. Started with the red. The Premier White is a really nice white. One of the other things that we talked about with Premier is that they do thrive in high density production, and they can also be cold grown. There's also Premier Pink. Another point about the colors being so vivid, they do pop even with lower light finishing. Jingle Bells is the 4th member of the Premier series, and it's got a really nice red with pink flakes kind of coloration to the bracts. All 4 Premiers are top sellers. Prestige Burgundy is a new variety joining the other 3 top sellers in Prestige series. It has beautiful burgundy bracts, as you can see here. A couple of things to note about Prestige. It's a really tough series. It has a very strong V-shaped architecture. It's really great for high density production. And again, Burgundy is just a gorgeous new addition. Jingle Bell Rock is a new mid-season novelty, and wow, this one's very striking. Hank Garland has nothing on this variety, that's for sure. Gorgeous, dramatic bracts, exciting colorations, really deep green foliage that creates a nice contrast. I think this is going to be a really nice addition. Here's another mid-season novelty, Red Glitter. It has a striking resemblance, of course, to the new Jingle Bell Rock, although in this case the white portions of the red bracts are much smaller and a little more subtle than the bursts of white on Jingle Bell Rock. Still, this has been a traditional top seller for Ecke, and you can see why. Peppermint Ruffles is a new early season specialty. It has a fairly early 7.5-week reaction time. It's very vigorous, and it's got a very nice sort of speckled pattern of peppermint ruffled leaves. It's going to be really good for pre-Thanksgiving sales. Autumn Leaves is another new one, has a spectacular color. Again, a 7.5-week reaction time, more compact than Peppermint Ruffles, but the color, this golden peachy color of Autumn Leaves is a very, very nice novelty. We mentioned Prestige earlier when we were showing the new Burgundy, but I thought it would be good for you all to see the red variety. Again, a top seller from the Ecke line. And just as a refresher, the Prestige line are all relatively later mid-season varieties. The red is an 8.5-week reaction time with medium vigorous growth. One of my favorites in the Ecke line is Polar Bear. It's one of the mid-season novelties, and Polar Bear's been around. It's a top seller. It has a nice light green leaf color, which contrasts nicely with the white bracts. It's important to note that over the years, Ecke has done a lot to support the actual polar bear population in the Arctic through sales of this product. We're looking here at the Enduring series. 4 colors make up the group. Pink, red, white, and marble all are 8.5-week reaction time varieties featuring medium compact growth. One of the great things about this is the bract shape. It's very lovely bracts. And it's also a good choice if you want to build combinations with a poinsettia because it is very uniform and it has that nice compact habit. Jubilee is another top-selling series for Ecke, and it's really difficult to imagine holidays without the beauty of this type of poinsettia. It's very adaptable. It has a strong branching habit and comes in a wide range of color options from pink to red and white, and then its nice speckled Jingle Bells variety. Jubilee features minimal heat delay and has fantastic retail presence. So that's the end of my quick tour at ECHI, at the Poinsettia open house that Dubin Group held. If you wanted to get more details after looking at this video, just look through the catalog from ECHI, because it has all the details right there. Plus, it shows many of the other varieties that they offer. What I showed you here today was really just scratching the surface. See you soon.
I might go the right direction. It might help. Okay, now I'm going to talk about Texas has 4 native poinsettias. Probably most of us didn't know that. I didn't know it either until I did some further studying. Okay. This is Euphorbia cyathophora. It is also known as the false poinsettia, painted poinsettia, Mexican poinsettia, or fire on the mountain. Pam Brock brought this plant to us at our school garden. It does spread very freely, but it will give this beautiful color in shade or sun, and it really gives you a nice splash of color. So it does very well. And this is a picture of one in one of my flower beds. You can see how it creates a beautiful cluster. My wife likes it a lot. I mean, if you don't like it someplace, it's easy to pull up. We've had people come by our school garden when we have a bunch of these in bloom, and my first question is, what is that plant? Because most people haven't seen it. You're not going to find it in any of the nurseries. So if you wanted this plant, you can get it from one of us. You can come to our school garden and help yourself. But it is available as a pass along kind of plant. This poinsettia you've probably seen in your yard, and you pull it up because we treat it as a weed. It's the tooth spurge, or also known as the green poinsettia. And I'm sure if you look closely, the key to all of these is this right here. That's that cyathium. And you can see that is the female, that's the pistil. And then the stamens are down in here. So if you see that configuration, and if you see that it's got some sap, then you know that you've got a euphorbia. This is another one. This is called Snow on the Prairie. And it's easy to see why it's called a cup flower when you look at this plant, because it has a beautiful cup with the bracts surrounding the plant, the flowers in the center. This is Snow on the Mountain. These leaves are a little bit broader, maybe a little bit more white. You'll find it kind of down in the hill country area is where you normally see it. The one thing to watch out for, though, is that this plant, if you have the snow on the prairie, for example, and you had cattle, you wouldn't want them eating that plant, because that caustic sap, would make their mouth sore, it would irritate their stomach, and they would quit eating. It isn't going to kill them, but it could make them pretty sick. So that's something people have to be careful of with those. I've included 3 different handouts. One is fun facts about poinsettias. And when I would give this class in person, I would kind of give this presentation, and then I would ask them these questions. So it's kind of a fun thing to share with your friends. And the other one is purchasing your poinsettia, and I'm going to kind of go through that one a little bit. And then how to take care of it, and how to rebloom poinsettias, how to put them out in your yard and grow them. once you buy the plant, and you want to make sure that you buy it when you do not see a lot of the pollen, the yellow flowers. Once those yellow flowers are through blooming, the bracts will die. So you want to buy it when those blooms are not open. Also, a lot of the poinsettia plants have foil wrapped around the pot. The first thing you want to do is either remove that foil or punch holes in it so the water can drain. Because if you build up too much water, it could also kill the plant. You need to keep the plants out of hot or cold drafts. Excessively hot, dry air from heating ducts and appliances will reduce the quality of the plant. They cannot tolerate cold or rapidly changing temperatures. Ideally, you'd want to keep the plant where temperatures remain above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Between 65 and 70 temperature degrees is ideal. You want it in a good light, but not direct sunlight. They do use a moderate amount of water. They should be checked daily. Make sure the soil remains moist, but be careful not to overwater. When adding water, you want to be sure and make sure some runs all the way through to the bottom. So maybe set it on a saucer or something so you can see that. You can apply a standard houseplant fertilizer once a month, beginning till the end of September. It's suggested by the AgriLife Extension, you might want to try to ask for a Texas product, one that's produced here in Texas, because it might do a little bit better. Okay. Here's some resources and contacts. You're welcome to contact us. All of these handouts were available from our website and from our catalog of materials from the AgriLife Horticulture. You want to know anything, you can go to Ag Horticulture. It's a wonderful site. You can learn about weeds and turf and everything else. A better presentation I found on poinsettia care and blooming was at the University of Minnesota Extension. You just go to that link, click on plants, and type in poinsettia, and you'll find it gives into more detail about how to get these plants to bloom for you at home and to regrow them. Actually, Pam Brock has hers out in the yard this year, and she said her bracts have already turned for her. So it can be done. So thanks everybody for joining me, and that's the end.
Thank you, Dick. There's one question for you.
Okay.
Can we get a copy of these handouts?
Yes. You'll get a copy of all the handouts. Whenever she sends you the copy of the program, you'll get the handouts also.
Is that 13-foot poinsettia at the beginning located in Guatemala?
It's close to Guatemala, but it was it's down in southern Mexico, so it's very, very far south.
Okay. Here's a thank you.
It was really pretty close to Mexico City, just south of Mexico City.
Here's a thank you from Kathleen.
You're welcome.
When can they be set into soil?
You would want to make sure the weather's warm outside. I'd keep it in a pot as long as you can. I probably wouldn't put it out till the spring. And one thing about when you're trying to rebloom these, because they'll lose those bracts. And when you're trying to rebloom them, you need to be sure that they're in total darkness. And typically it's only 12 hours of the darkness. You don't keep them dark 24 hours. And like they said in the presentation, it can take anywhere from, 7 weeks or so, for them to turn. But what you'll tell, because you're going to uncover it, if you keep it totally covered and you keep all kind of ambient light out of it, and you keep it covered, when those bracts start turning, then you know it's ready to basically to take it out, So it'll actually tell you whenever the bracts are turning that it's time you can take it out of the dark. But usually it's about 50 days or so. Okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions? You can, yeah. I don't see anything else at this point.
To me, it was fascinating learning all these details, and to think an immigrant from Germany is the one that got it started and made it a Christmas plant, Christmas flower.
We need to try these in our greenhouse.
We could do them.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You just got to have a way to black them out. Put them in a closet, but you want them in there just for the 12 hours every day for 7 weeks or so.
How do you repot them?
I have never done it, but I'm sure you would probably just take it into, if you can take it out of the pot and see if it's getting root bound. And at that point, you'd probably want to put it into a little bit larger pot. And you might want to do that before you put it outside, just to be sure that it's doing well. Depends on the size of the plant that you buy.
Jean says, too late to rebloom for Christmas. I still have mine from last year.
Probably so. Because we don't have 7 weeks or so. I mean, you could try. You could sure try it.
It's over here in the chat.
Remember, you're going to leave it in the dark overnight or for a total of 12 hours. And then you take it out, put it in indirect light the rest of the day, then put it back in the dark again. You have to do that for, like I say, 7 weeks maybe, until it starts get those colored bracts. Because that's what makes it bloom, it's a short day plant.
Thank you. I will try, she says.
Okay. It's worth a try. It's worth a try. Like I say, Pam evidently got hers to work outside. I don't know, as cold as it is, I'm not sure it'd do well out there. That'd be the thing I'd be worried about. I mean, you got to remember, Mexico isn't going to get cold like it does here in southern Mexico. So, you definitely couldn't put it outside now.
Another question, what pests do we need to watch out for?
I don't know. I haven't read anything on pests. I mean, if you put it outside, you're likely to get pests. If you got it inside, you're probably not going to get any. I mean, if you've got other plants in the house and it gets white flies, or you bring something in on other plants, they could get on it. And I've never seen any get on there, but I'm not aware of any. That doesn't mean there won't be some that'll find it.
On the chat, there is a link to our evaluation that we would like for y'all to fill out. You just click on it and fill it out and just send it.
And looks like Jenny raised her hand.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Okay, Jenny.
You might want to see if you can unmute her and see if she has a question.
Let me go over there. Debbie also raised her hand. Let's see.
Yeah.
They should all be able to unmute themselves at this point.
Yeah. So if you've got your hand raised and have a question, unmute yourself and fire away. I'll do my best.
Debbie, I don't see your name. There you are. Allow to talk. I'll try.
Well, they should be able to unmute themselves.
There she is. There's Debbie.
Yeah, you're on, Debbie.
I accidentally hit the hand. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's all right.
I'm looking for Jenny. I don't see her.
And Barbara, you can unmute also if you got a question. And Jenny, you can unmute.
Well, there's Jenny. Let me see if I can unmute her.
Okay, this is Jenny. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I had poinsettias that I'd gotten from Agnes at the backyard vegetable garden for working at the compost outpost, and I had them in my little greenhouse for 2 or 3 years. And the pests that they developed in the early summer were white flies. And I treated them, and I could not get rid of the white flies. And I finally asked Agnes, and she said, "Oh, when they get white flies, you just need to rip them up, put them in black plastic bags, and throw them out because you cannot get rid of them."
I bet that's true. That's the same thing they do to hibiscus. They're real bad about getting those white flies. Once you get them, you can't get rid of them.
Right. And then I also wanted to say that I put my poinsettias that I got from church, they were giving them away last year after Christmas, on my back porch all summer. And then I moved them into my greenhouse just before we got that cold snap at the end of October. My greenhouse is in the backyard, and the red one's already forming red bracts.
Oh, cool.
The white one is not, but the red one is. And so they just get the daylight as it occurs with the length of day here. I didn't put it in any dark.
Yeah. The white probably needed a little longer, short days.
Okay. Well, that's all I had to say. I finally figured out how to unmute. Thank you. This has been a delightful program.
Well, thanks for helping us out on the insect issue. Thank you, Jenny.
Okay, Barbara, do you want to ask a question? Jean said she just ran outside, grabbed a plant, and has started to change color.
That's great. That's great. That's even better.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Pam said. She didn't do anything special with hers. She said it just started changing color. And you really could just put it outside in a pot and maintain it. It might be the best way to do it anyway. Bringing it out of the cold.
Yeah, for the time being, anyway. Let's see. Linda, I have tried to allow you to talk. She says she's disabled.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. No, I was trying to, when I was looking for the survey, it said my chat was disabled. Because I think you said it was on the chat. No? Yes? Did I miss something?
Yes, it's in the chat. But if you can't see it, I'll be sending you a follow-up email and it'll be
Okay.
there.
Okay, that works. Thank you.
Actually, I'm going to put it in your chat box and send it directly to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Marlene said thank you. It was excellent. Sue said thank you. Very interesting.
I thought it was interesting. I got real kind of wrapped up into it after a while, learning all that stuff.
Yeah. Hey, do you have a question? I noticed you're not muted anymore. Catherine? Okay. Sue says, very good program, Dick.
Thank you. First time I've done a presentation in quite a while, and I need to keep do more, I guess.
We'll get out of the habit.
Yeah.
Sharon said enjoyed the program.
We had a decent turnout too.
Yeah, we had 70,
60. Yeah.
76 total. That doesn't include us, 3 of us.
Three amigos.
Jerry says, thank you, Nancy. Char says, don't forget me.
I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas.
Good presentation by Colleen.
Got 2 more raise their hands, I guess, huh?
Oh,
Yeah, share.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I'm in charge of keeping the poinsettias alive at church, and unfortunately, there's no windows, hardly any light, and it's cold. Somebody told me when I water them, instead of watering, fill them up with ice cubes and put it at the top and leave it that way.
I've never heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be, I know on my African violets, I water them from the bottom. I just put the water in a saucer and then set them in there, and it'll suck it, it'll suck it right up into the pot. But yeah, I wouldn't use ice cubes in there.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
I wouldn't suggest it anyway.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Mary Beth said, very good presentation. She saw a big poinsettia on the big island of Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Karen said, thank you. Very good information. I want to see what's over here. Dorothy said she loved it and very educational.
Yeah. I think most people, I didn't know, that we had 4 native poinsettias until I looked it up, just discovered it.
Sue Kelly says she's used ice cubes at church also and works very well, no problem.
Huh. Well, what do the ice cubes do, Sue?
Unmute, Sue.
Maybe they keep it from getting too hot.
If I got a meter.
Possibly a way that they watered them without overwatering.
Maybe so. Maybe that's it. Because you definitely want to keep them moist, it says, for the best results. I've never tried to overwinter one, but
it's just real easy to do, especially if you have a whole lot of them. It like Nancy said, you're not overwatering.
right.
My dad had a wholesale nursery, and that's what he did in
Okay.
his business, and so that's where I got that idea.
Huh.
But I never had any problems, and it's real easy to do, to carry around a bucket of ice cubes rather than a goblet of water.
Yeah, that's good.
How frequently did you do that, Sue? Did you just check for dryness and then add them? Or?
I did, but it was probably whoever had this same experience at church. It was dark. We made sure that and cold. We made sure the thermostat didn't go under 55. I think is what I decided, and I check them every few days, and it was about, really, you almost could go a week, but 4 or 5 days.
Yeah. Well, the literature says you want to let it dry and then put water it again, but.
And of course, it'll drive you crazy because you don't want them to lose all their leaves during the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're always kind of glad when that's over with.
Yeah. They'll start dropping them for sure.
Yeah, you're right.
How do you fertilize them? Janet asked.
It says a regular household fertilizer, and I'm not sure what that is. I'm assuming that would mean probably a balanced fertilizer like Miracle Grow or something like that. So that's probably what I would use, would be a balanced fertilizer, with equal parts of each of it. And you may look and just see if there's a fertilizer specific for them. I haven't investigated that. I know there's a special one for African violets and that sort of thing. So there may be one that's, that's recommended. And it may be that you don't want to use a full dose, a regular dose. Like I know on African violets, you only use 1/4 of a teaspoon to a gallon of water. So you might want to check and see. But I've never overwintered mine and kept them, so.
A new project to do. Everybody has a new project to do this year.
Well, and when I water my violets, it's already in the water. Every time I water them, I use the fertilizer. But I do it about once a week. It takes me, maybe a little less whenever they get dry. But I water them from below always.
We have a new challenge.
Yep. I'll have to try that too. Now that I've given a presentation on it for the first time in many years.
I've got one that's kind of sad, so now's a good time to try.
Yeah. Well, if it's not all bloomed out, remember, if those blooms are all
I'll have
bloomed
to
out,
look at it.
you're going to lose your bracts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Are there any more questions? I haven't seen any. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. Do y'all see any hands raised other than the ones we've already talked to?
It's not showing any.
And nothing in chat or on Q&A.
Okay.
So I think we'll end the session. Now, if anybody has a quick question, we'll just unmute and we'll take it. If not, we'll end the program.
Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa, for hosting, and Dick, great presentation.
Thank you.
It was great.